Where are we?
We are at 23rd in Kentucky.
How can you tell?
Because I remember where we parked down there and it said 21 in Kentucky spray painted on the street.
And what happened here?
An EF5 tornado on May 22nd, 2011. About 14 miles long and about a mile wide. And it just destroyed everything in its path.
What did it destroy?
I think it was over 8,000 houses and over 500 businesses, 9,000 cars. 3 of them were ours, 3 cars and a house. But it did not destroy our hope, and there's a lot of good things happening as a result of this. I feel like spiritually what's happened is we all kind of, to some degree, even us, I didn't ever think I hid behind my stuff or got any kind of security from my position in life or anything, but the tornado didn't just blow away walls and didn't just destroy our cars. It kind of exposed the foundation of who we are, and all of a sudden it's like you can see that. You just walk through Walmart, you can tell people that went through it with you, and you can communicate without saying a word. And I think the Spirit is able to access our soul a lot faster because we don't have trappings. I think there's an explosion of love happening in the Spirit right now in this particular disaster zone. And I think that it's supposed to, if God has it His way, a lot of the walls of religion and all of the things that kept the Spirit from moving freely between people to build relationships are supposed to be permanently destroyed. None of that's supposed to be rebuilt. And I think if God has it His way, it will not be rebuilt. And we're gonna do our part to make sure those walls stay destroyed. But for the moment, there's a lot, you can look through houses and you can see straight through. You can see the color of the walls that I never knew happened, a block away. My neighbors never told me what color they chose to paint their kid's bedroom, but I know now because I can just drive by and see it. And we're supposed to be like that in the Spirit. We're supposed to share what's really going on. And I think that's happening right now because we don't have a facade to hide behind. We had to rent a place for our home fellowship because it got too big for our house. And 2 days after we rented it, we're home fellowship because we had to move into the place we rented. Our house is no longer even there to do a fellowship in. So there's all kinds of death happening and all kinds of life rising out of it. And that's not to take away from the victims who died, and I can't even imagine what they're dealing with right now. And we were just fortunate. I didn't personally know anyone who died in the storm, but I know a lot of people whose spirits were very challenged, and there's been a lot of deaths in me along the way. The first thing I experienced was a feeling of inadequacy, and that lasted very strongly for a good 3 weeks, I think. This is too big. I'm inadequate. I can't do this. And I really thought I had a pretty good grip on life, and I thought I was the rock in the middle of the stream, that everybody kind of knew where I was. And I realized a few days ago, I'm just another drop of water in that stream. And I kind of get a better feel for who the rock is, because when you look around at this, the only being big enough to handle any of this is God. This is the first tragedy. I've been through other tragedies in my life, none so wide scale or so shared in a community, but this is the first time I've been emotionally healthy enough to experience emotions as I have them. I don't think I've ever cried real tears coming from my guts like I have. I've cried about the trees. I love the trees in this town, and they just don't quite look like they're supposed to look. And I think about the effort God put into creating a beautiful, enormous tree that's been growing here for 100 years, and it's just gone. It's like a skeleton, and it doesn't have any green on it anymore. And, I kind of feel like that sometimes lately, and I know the rest of my family has, my friends. Sometimes we just sort of sit there and just kind of, I don't know, hang our branches out a little bit. I don't know. It's very unnerving because you just don't, there's no paradigm in my mind. I don't know how to help other people. I don't know how to I don't know how to tell them what to do. Like, oh, I've done this before and let me help you. Let me walk you through this. There's no walking ahead of anyone. We're just sort of, I feel like we're just kind of this big mass of refugees sort of plodding through life for the moment.
But what gives you hope?
A lot of things give me hope. I mean, since the moment this happened, there's been a surge of hope. I mean, we walked out and we said, we can start over, we can do this. And of course, a little bit of that is naivety, because you think, oh my gosh, we must be at the epicenter of the worst storm ever. We had no idea it went both ways 7 miles, either direction. And that most people got it way worse than us. Like, we got kissed by this tornado. Everyone else got chewed up, spit out. But the connections, the restoration of belief in the goodness of people who say they love God, but you don't necessarily know until you see them in action. This is action. We've seen so much action. We've seen the hands and feet of Jesus reaching out, and I've had to be on the receiving end of that. That gives me tremendous hope, because I'm learning to give and receive simultaneously, which is pretty handy at a time like this. And I mean, there's hope in the churches that were destroyed in the destruction zone are having to meet with other churches that they formerly were not meeting with or affiliated with at a different service time. It shakes things up. It makes people think out of the box. There's no box. All these boxes are destroyed. We can't be in our box anymore. There's no box for this. And that gives me tons of hope, because you can't learn something new. You can't teach this in a classroom. It's very raw. It's very organic. It's very, oh my gosh, what do we do? I don't know. What are you doing? Let's bring a couple ideas together and try to survive one more day. I mean, sounds a little dramatic, but it's actually very true with how we're all thinking and doing. And I mean, I run in a circle of pretty positive people, and those who aren't, we try to absorb and we try to build them up too. But I just think hope is the feel in the air, even though it looks like this. Everybody who's had to leave this is, I mean, I have yet to talk to somebody who's just absolutely done with life and this is all God's fault, and I've just heard so much thankfulness. We're alive is the number one thing. When you ask people, how are you doing? We're alive. And that's never meant so much to me. I've heard that you never learn how to live until you've had to face death, you know, and kind of learn how to die. So we sat in a bathtub together, and we had that moment of kind of existing in a vacuum where you understand this is completely outside your control. Nobody has any ability to change or improve your odds of survival. And we survived, and we didn't even have a scratch, and many, many people were very severely injured, which is a whole nother level of tragedy and suffering as they're trying to put together their lives and figure out how they're going to drive. And but there's hope, because we're all still here, and another day, you know, dawns every morning. And even if you had a bad day, the next day can be a good day. And even if it goes downhill, a friend will stop by and it just picks you up. It's like it removed everything but relationships, and everybody we had left mattered a whole lot more. All those texts right away. Are you alive? Yes. Do you have a home? No. Were the two things that we communicated to each other, to every friend that we had. It was the same. In all of our immediate friends we had through our neighborhoods, and it just, that's how it went down. And so we're all wandering around the streets, and we're all, oh my gosh, what do we do now? But yet it was, what do we do now? It wasn't sit down and fold your hands and wring your, it's over. It's never been over. It's just, I think as reality has set in from day to day, the putting back together is having to balance out we're gonna get through this, because the reality of putting back together is a lot harder than you initially comprehend. But it's not even a putting back together, because the pieces are shattered beyond fixing. And I hope they stay shattered to that extent, because I'd like to build new stuff, and I'd like this to be a bond. And we had prayed for months, God, show us the way to meet our neighbors, and we're like, okay, we'll take this way. And so we've bonded with other people we hadn't even met before. We've seen the inside of their houses, because that's all you can see. So. Are you alive? I am alive. I am more alive than I was as I sat in the tub May 22nd at 6 p.m. when the tornado hit. I'm way more alive than I was that morning when I woke up not having any idea that anything different would happen that day. And I'm more alive than I was yesterday or 5 minutes ago. There's a definite sense in my life and in the lives of those that I'm closest to that this is an ongoing journey, and it changes moment by moment, and this is never going to end. And I mean, if that can come out of the tornado, then I think God's victorious in this, and then I think that's the act of God in all of this. It's not the destruction, it's the birth out of the death.
My eyes have seen the glory of the coming Lord. It looks like streets restored after the vicious war. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming Lord. It looks like hearts re-sown, wounded on Eden's shores. My God, you move and everything is new. The world is changed, never the same. The light has come bearing your name. The dawn that's breaking in the east shines upon the least of these, and soon everything is new. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming Lord. It looks like lonely souls being alone no more. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming Lord. It looks like God's own feet walking along these floors. My God, you move and everything is new. The world is changed, never the same. The light has come bearing your name. The dawn that's breaking in the east shines upon the least of these, and soon everything is new. Everything is new. Jesus, it is you. Soon everything is new.
We're not the only ones in this boat.
I've seen the glory of the coming Lord. We love you, Lord.